Hey, what is up, everybody? This is your boy AJ Tripp, and welcome to the game according to me. You're doing another episode. Episode number, let's see what episode this is. This is episode number 29. This is week 2 of college football and week 1 of the NFL season. With 2 episodes to go. I'm recording this on a Monday, the Monday Night Football games, and we talk about Antonio Brown. But before we do, let's really quickly give you an update on what's going on in my life. I now have a job. I now have a job, and it's a 9 to 5 job. It's going to take me some time to get to that job and some time to get back to it because it's in the suburbs. So I'm not sure necessarily how this whole podcasting thing is going to continue because now I feel like talking about as we get to the football season, I think I said this before. I think you want to talk about this like on a weekly basis. You want to talk about college. You want to talk about college football and pro football on a weekly basis. You don't want to do it every other week because it's just not. It's not can be concurrent. You're gonna miss some things. Some great things could happen within those weeks, right? So there are a lot of things that I don't know if I necessarily want to, do. Um, so, be honest with you, I don't know necessarily what's going to happen to it. I do have a thought that maybe I would download the Anchor app, and I would do like a mini podcast. I do like a mini podcast, mini show on my way to work. I like on my way, walking to the bus station. I would do a mini podcast to give you my thoughts on what went down on the week, and then and keep you up to date that way. And then maybe in between the big weeks or something like that, or maybe we would do something where I would do a mini podcast like that, and then we would maybe do like a big one at the end of the month, like I was doing it before. I was doing like do ones big at the end of the month, bigly, as Donald Trump would say. So I don't know. We really have to see. But for the most part, wherever you are listening to me, just continue to be here and listen to me because I promise you there will be there will be podcasts. We will talk about sports. We will talk about wrestling. We will talk about all of that good stuff. So just make sure you are continue on to be right here with me, and I appreciate it so much. So that being said, let's go ahead and let's talk about those sports, right? Let's start with college football and the stuff that we done. I think the biggest thing that happened yesterday was the overtime game between Army and Michigan. And that one was fantastic. That one really was. Army gave them their all. They really did, and they tried their best. They tried their hardest. That triple option always gives people's fits, and they have a pretty good defense as well. Michigan just isn't really right now. They changed the offense from like their power offense. They go into the spread offense because they wanted to they kind of wanted to fit Shea Patterson's things. He has his gifts. He felt like the spread would probably help him out do his gifts, but his traits. But it's not running right now because they did not because many times they were like third and fourth and short and they went to the spread, and that's that's one of my pet boogaloos. It's No, one thing about the spread that does get to me is the fact that you don't play power football when you need to. When you are fourth, third and short, or fourth and short, you know, there's no reason. If you can't get 1 yard or less, then you don't deserve to win. I truly believe that, and I truly believe that and even if you do the spread, you still should be able to practice short yardage. You still should be able to practice short yardage, but it doesn't happen, and I'm always flabbergasted at this. Why a lot of teams do the spread, do all the spread you want to, but the fact that they don't do short yardage, like they don't do it well. That's another big thing. So I was really really shocked at that at just being just all kinds of awful. Um, so that was probably the big game of the day. Michigan won 24-21. We'll see if they stay high in the polls, or see if they'll drop in the polls. But mostly this was obviously this is the time of year where we have a lot of extreme blowouts. Ohio State beat Cincinnati 42-0. Maryland beat Syracuse 63-20. Wisconsin beat Central Michigan 61-0. Alabama beat New Mexico State 62-10. Georgia beat Murray State 63-17. Washington State beat Northern Colorado 59-17. I said this once, and I'll continue to say it. These teams should not be, should not be playing FCF schools. They just should not be teams in the Power Five conferences. Like Washington State should not be playing Northern Colorado. Georgia State should not be playing Murray State. Florida. Florida should not be playing Tennessee and Martin. 45-0. Okay, now look at this. Number 15, Oregon played Nevada. Now Nevada is not an FCS team; they're an FBS team. But they played it in Corvallis, in Oregon. That game should be played in Nevada. If you're going to play Nevada, it needs to be played in Nevada. Oregon beat Nevada 77-6. So, really, the two marquee games of the weekend were number one, Clemson at 16. They were home facing 16 Texas A&M, and there was a lot of talk coming from Texas A&M saying that they were going to beat Clemson, and there was even a guarantee thrown out there. And Clemson, had some struggles with them, but they did beat them 24-10. So that was interesting. And then the game that College Game Day was at was the number 4. At the time, it was the number 6 LSU team against the number 9 Texas team. I think the polls have now come out now where you now have LSU at 4 and Texas at 12. But that was a game that I saw, and that came down to the very wire. Sam Ehlinger, a team in the quarterback for Texas, he played lights out, tried his best, but LSU was just too much for him, and LSU came out and they won 45-38. What I liked about College Game Day is that they went out and they had the Undertaker come out, the Undertaker. So, and which, by the way, I also talk about wrestling on this podcast. Make sure that you go over to my YouTube channel, AJ Trip. Link will be down in the description box below. Rapid reaction to Clash of Champions. I may have a job, but I'll still be doing rapid reactions on Sunday night. So make sure you're there to check out that. Okay, that's a little plug for that. So that's what happened week 2. A really quick look into week 3 preview. As I scan it really quick. Again, doesn't look like anything could really be anything. BYU did upset Tennessee. They're facing number 20, the 24 USC Trojans. Um, but as I look at here, I'm not sure. I don't even know what game day is going for next Saturday. So I don't even know where they're going to go out. It could be Florida and Kentucky, but that's probably going to be on CBS, the SEC game of the week. So, Oklahoma UCLA maybe. Number 5 Oklahoma at UCLA. We'll have to see. We'll see. But if I were to guess, I would guess the game of the week for week 3 maybe. Um, yeah, it's wow. Because a lot of these teams are just. It actually, as I look now, it might be if this would move up. It actually might be Washington State at Houston. The number 20 Washington State Wildcats at the Houston Cougars. You know, Houston they had a opening weekend against Oklahoma. They didn't fare too well, but they're still supposed to be a good team. So we'll find out. But week 3 should be a very good week in the world of college football. So can't wait for it. Now let's go ahead and let's talk about yesterday. Again, we got 2 games tonight: Houston and New Orleans and Denver and Oakland. 2 games that could be good. They also could be bad, but we'll have to wait and see. But yesterday's games were, I thought, they were very, very interesting. Even going back to Thursday, where my Bears got beat by the Packers 10-3 in a very underwhelming game, kind of showing that maybe preseason is here for a reason, right? It's to get ready for the regular season, but they want to make sure that you stay healthy. So, but it just showed was just that Patrick Mahomes is picking up where he left off. He did get a little foot injury, but that was okay. Tyreek Hill's got a shoulder injury. We'll see where that happens, but he came out and had a fantastic day. So did Lamar Jackson. Lamar Jackson, I think everybody thought that, it's okay. So they just think we're just gonna run the ball. This is just gonna be, we're gonna go back to the 1940s, and we're just gonna run on first down, run on second down, and run on third down. And that's not really the case. It looks like because they were throwing deep down the field where they were putting 8-9 in the box. They were going over the top with Marquise / Hollywood Brown. Um, he was doing that, and he even said at the thing, pretty good for a running back because a lot of people have thought that he maybe, cannot, you know, play from the pocket. But he was a rookie last year, and now this is his second year, so we have to see how he progresses. He was pretty good from the pocket when it came, in the in college at Louisville, but he was such a dynamic runner that people thought that maybe he needed to be he needed to be a receiver or even put on some pounds and become a running back. But we'll see how this season continues off. But he played very well and beat down the Dolphins so much so that Mike Florio reported last night that there were people in the Dolphins players. They were actually calling their agents to try and get pursue trades to leave because they're now truly unbelieving that the Dolphins are tanking. And that's something I don't understand. Why would you trade for Josh Rosen only to come back and tank? I don't get that. To get Tua Tagovailoa. So who knows? Some other good stuff. I think that went down yesterday. Um, the Minnesota Vikings is a game I watched here in Chicago. They faced the Atlanta Falcons, and boy, they were running the ball. Dalvin Cook is healthy, and he is fast, and he is ready to go. He ran roughshod all over the Atlanta Falcons, and Matt Ryan they wasn't on point yesterday. So Minnesota Vikings had a good day. The Tennessee Titans had a really good day, shocking the Browns. The Browns are the pick. Everybody's picking them to surprise, and I picked them to win the division. But not a good start because Baker Mayfield threw 3 fourth quarter interceptions, right? He threw 3, I think, or at least 2 fourth quarter interceptions, one returned for a touchdown. And they were undisciplined. The left tackle got kicked out for kicking somebody in the head. And they had a bunch of, they had over 100 yards in penalties in the first half. They were really, really awful. There's no other way to say it. They were awful, and Tennessee took advantage of that, and they stepped up the game. And Tennessee could be a surprise. Jacksonville, they just lost Nick Foles. They now have to go to Gardner Minshew, the quarterback for Washington State. At least for the majority of the season, Nick Foles could come back. So because if no one runs away with that division, if everybody's close and Nick Foles comes back for the last 5-6 games of the season, Nick Foles, we know his name, we know his nickname, Big Nick. So he could bring out the big and come back and make a charge maybe. The Colts, they were at the Chargers. They did really good. They came back from behind and they tied it up, brought the game to overtime. But the Chargers did go ahead and win. And but they looked good with Jacoby Brissett. We'll see how the Texans play tonight. So the Titans have a chance to make waves in this division. Speaking of overtime, probably the game of the day was the comeback tie by the Arizona Cardinals. They went to they were down by a few, and then they came back and they tied it up. Apparently, now what happened was that in the fourth quarter there was a play where the Lions made a first down, but the team called a timeout. And then, and that first down would have cemented it because the Cardinals didn't have any timeouts. But then they called a timeout. When you know it, they didn't make the first down. They had to kick it away. Arizona drove down with the rookie, Kyler Murray, brought them down the field, scored a touchdown, get a 2-point conversion, tied it up. They went to overtime. I think Arizona got the ball first. They went down. They drove down the field. They kicked the field goal. Then I think then the Lions get the ball back. They drove down the field. They kicked the field goal, and then Arizona got the ball. They were stopped. They had to punt, and then the Lions lined it up and threw a Hail Mary out of bounds. So yeah, it ended up a 27-27 tie. Now I thought that it was like we had to tie in the first week, but actually, according to my Facebook page, we had a tie the first week last week with the Cleveland Browns and the Pittsburgh Steelers. So that's back-to-back years, y'all, that we've got a tie in the first week of the season. So I think this was all incredible. This was all incredible. And the Sunday night game was a complete and utter blowout. Patriots look like they are just better than ever. It look like they're never going to fall. So whatever. But speaking of Patriots, the big news this weekend was without question Antonio Brown. Yeah, we all know the stories, the things with the chirotherapy, the stuff with the helmet, and everything like that. Then he was fined for missing the prices. Then like this week he went up and he got in the face of Mike Mayock. Again, he did at one point decided to, he apologized to the team for his outburst, but then Mike Mayock decided to fine him and, fine him for his outburst against him and then also take away his signing bonus money. And at that point, Antonio Brown decided to say, screw that, and asked to be released. He was released Saturday morning, and Saturday evening he was picked up by the New England Patriots, of course. And on Twitter, they were everybody when AB get released, there were a whole bunch of jokes about him going to the Patriots. And wouldn't you know it, that as soon as they were Reggie Bush even put up said that if AB ends up going to the Patriots, the league is rigged. And when you know it, he goes to the Patriots. So here's my thoughts on this. I put this out on Twitter and I put this out on everything. I'm starting to agree. Max Kellerman said something the other day that he thought maybe there was something wrong with Antonio Brown mentally. Maybe there was maybe he wasn't right. Maybe it was just something. Maybe something wasn't there. Maybe I don't know. I'm starting to wonder maybe if that's not true. If there isn't some truth to that. Maybe there is something that isn't right with him that would make him want to just be that way. I'm not sure. So listen, it is what it is, but and it could just be that Antonio Brown is just really just a selfish SOB. And all he cares about is himself, and he cares nothing about team or anything like that. He just wants to be comfortable, and we'll see if this works out with the New England Patriots. I got to be honest with you. I don't know if that will work out, because I think there's a possibility that he would do something, and New England Patriots are going to say, "This dude, whatever, you're gone." Because he signed a 1-year contract. I don't know. There's some other things that happened, but it was reported to be a 1-year contract for $15 million with $9 million guaranteed. There was some talk this morning about maybe there being like 20 other million happening maybe for the future or something, but I don't know. I don't believe it. So what I do believe is that if he stays there, the New England Patriots have just got another weapon. Last night they already looked like they didn't need him. They looked like they didn't need him with Edelman and Dorsett and with Josh Gordon. Looked like they didn't need him, and now they're gonna have him. Wow, that's 4 receivers that just look like it looks like a peanut butter and jelly sandwich to a homeless man. For Tom Brady, those 4 receivers, he's got to be drooling and loving it. So yeah, all in all, this has been just in particular a crazy, crazy, crazy week of Antonio Brown drama. That's been a crazy 2 months since football started in training camp. So, but yeah, that is it for the podcast. Again, like I said, because of what was happening, I don't know how this is going to continue on. Like I said, I might just do like mini podcasts, so things like that. Or when I go to or when I do like big ones, maybe at the end. I'm not sure, but what I do want to convey to you is that I'm not giving up just because I have a job and it's going to be, I'm going to be too busy and maybe too tired. I'm not giving up. I'm going to continue with this. I'm going to continue with my Twitch channel. I'm going to continue with my YouTube channel. Because this is something that I want to do. I want to be in the world of content creation. And whether it's just, and whether it's, Twitch, YouTube, or this podcast, or a combination of all three, which I think would probably be the best one, to have a combination of all three. Going and working and being good and making money off of these three. I think that's what I want to do for the rest of my life. Because what I don't want to do for the rest of my life is wake up at 6 to go to a job. That's not something that I want to do for the rest of my life. It's something that I have to do right now, just to continue to live and stay in Chicago. But it's not something that I want to do for the rest of my life. So, uh, things are going to be weird. Things are going to be, you know, things are going to be, strange. But I want you guys to stay with me. Don't give up on me. And if you want to help me out, you can go to the link down in the description box below where you can go up and you can be a subscriber to my podcast on on Anchor.fm, and you can you can have 3 tiers. You can be a 99 cent tier, you can be a 4.99 cent tier, or you can be a 9.99 cent tier. Where you subscribe to my podcast, and that helps me out. So, and it doesn't matter what you subscribe with. Any amount would do. I appreciate any. I just appreciate your support. So, thank you guys for listening. Thank you guys so much for being here. And yeah, so be on the lookout. I'll be having some type of new show, something next week. I think so. Yeah, just make sure you are listening. Thank you guys so much for listening. This is your boy AJ Tripp signing off. As always, be good to each other, y'all. Be careful out there, and I am out.